On the show today, we discuss a therapy that is definitely sound, Tibetan Bowls and tuning forks with Susan Sinclair. We tell you what different rooms in your house symbolise, and as always, we interpret the dreams you sent in during the week, all the while taking your calls on 425-373-5527. Welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about dreams and their meaning. I'm Michael Sheridan, and with me in studio today is Heidi Brooke.
Hello.
Thanks to everyone who sent dreams into RadioShow at dream-analysis.com or to us through Facebook. You can get our contact details and archives of all previous shows on dream-analysis.com. If you've had a recent dream or one that stuck with you over the years, feel free to call us now, 425-373-5527, or just with a general interest question. And always when we have Heidi on, we can take calls about anything. She can give you an answer even when you don't give her a question. It's called cheating. Okay, so what I wanted to do today, we're going to talk with Susan Sinclair after the first break. So what I wanted to do was dive straight into dreams. So I felt the last couple of weeks now we've covered a lot of things and put the dreams at the end, and people may have forgotten what the show's about. So we start off today with a dream from Patrick. He says, I was given the lead role in a movie playing the vice president. In the dream, the tradition was for the president to fix the VP's tie and vice versa when getting into costume, and this didn't happen, which annoyed me. I noticed that annoyance. Filming was due to start at 2 p.m. and I needed to use the toilet. This was a problem, as I could not find one, and there was water dripping from the ceiling. Filming was in Clondalkin, and I found myself in Blessington, the town nearest to where I live. Okay, so just stopping at that. There's plenty more of this dream, and I'll continue on with it. But we already know some things. We know because it's a movie, it's about playing the game of life, but also it's about, he has a channeling ability. Patrick has a channeling ability. And I can use his real name because with the dream being from somebody in Ireland, there are so many people called Patrick over there. He totally blended
One
in.
in three.
Even the women.
Exactly.
And the vice president, okay, that's the same as being the president in a dream. So it's about leadership. The dreamer has spiritual leadership. And I see we have somebody on the call, but we'll come to them in a minute. Please hold on. But he's annoyed anyway. So we have annoyance. We know he's got a channeling ability and he has spiritual teaching ability. Filming was due to start at 2 p.m. The 2 p.m. is also about channeling, the number 2, and he needs to use the toilet. So he needs to eliminate something with regard to his attitude towards this. Let's see. Blessington, yeah, that's why I stopped there. So Blessington, as a name, it's like Graceland in a dream. It's about being in a state of grace. So we have bless here being, the dream is blessed, or blessed is he, whatever way you want to put it. So it's showing that the dreamer has a spiritual path, but he also has a path that was a bit unsavory as well, and that comes up later on. What have we got here? I had to get back, and I was making my way along the canal when I saw a hobo ahead, and I became apprehensive, so I decided to run and pee at the same time, as you do. So, okay, the canal is a body of water that is restricted by man-made or conventional, it's restricted by man-made structures. So it's saying that your view of channeling and spiritual leadership is restricted by conventional ideals. And that's what you need to eliminate. So even if we don't look at the rest of the dream, we have that. So I'll take a break here and we will see if April is still on the line. Hello, April. Hello, April.
Oh, hello.
How are you? Yes, I can hear you.
I'm very good. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Thanks for waiting. So you have a dream question.
Yes, I'm a little confused about who my dreams are telling me to cut the ties with, because I would think it was my mother, and it just doesn't seem to be clear to me. So I was wondering if Heidi could help me.
I was just going to interrupt there and say, no, it's your mom. So they're saying, is there a reason you wouldn't think it's your mother? Was she not present in your life very long, or?
She isn't at the moment, but she was just a more difficult parent, so that's why I would automatically think.
Yeah.
But my dreams seem to be telling me, bringing up male energy a lot, or men.
Well, can I ask you this? Is your mom a very male-oriented person?
She mean? Does that count?
Yes, that does count because you're the one that's going to be cutting the ties. So it's the issues you have with her. So yes, it is your mother, is what they're saying. But I'm also getting that you have done a lot of work with her or on regarding the issues with her. So I think cutting the ties isn't going to be that difficult for you. And I think the dream is also reminding you of that, which is probably why you're feeling sometimes it's not your mom, because you've done a lot of work with her, but you just have to finish it off.
Well, then that's sort of the other question. I was going to ask who I should cut the ties with and in what order would be most beneficial. So I was thinking my mother first and then...
Yes, your mother. And do you have a brother?
Yes.
Yeah, your brother is next.
My brother is next?
Yes, I'm not sure why. Is he an older brother?
No, he's younger.
Younger. I don't know. I'm seeing something there, but before you go on to your other parent, you to do something with your brother, and they're saying it's something that would only take a one-time session type thing. You do it within an hour or two, and maybe it's because was your mom very, very close to your brother and not you, or something like that.
I'm sorry. Repeat that. I didn't say that.
Was your mother very close to your brother and not you? Like was she closer to your brother?
I would think that my brother came out of the childhood a little bit more damaged than me, actually. But I was left in charge of him a lot, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm not getting exactly why, but I think to do with your brother, it's not for any negative feelings, but I think it just helps aid you in finishing that process with your other parent.
Yeah. If you have a parent or a sibling who's influential, and they've persuaded you that what their perception is correct, then you can be asked to cut the ties with them just to clean the slate. It's not really a big thing at all. And like Heidi said, it's because it's not really anything, there's no trauma inflicted by that brother on you or anything like that. It's just a really quick and easy thing to do. And it just, it helps you have a clearer perspective, helps you have your own perspective, that is, rather than your brother's perspective.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm after searching through the dreams, because this is one we looked at earlier. Heidi will remember this. And there was somebody called April who sent us a dream, and I'm assuming that's you.
Yes.
She said, I had a lucid dream, so we'll do it now. I had a lucid dream on 2 occasions where I asked a person in a dream which part of me they represent. And the reason I remembered this is because I got a good laugh out of it. One was someone working as a plumber under the kitchen sink, and last night it was an older grandma type lady. Both times their eyes flashed dark when I asked them, and they wouldn't answer my question. And any ideas on what's up with that? I wasn't scared when they did it, but why wouldn't they answer me? What did the eyes mean? I think that's really funny, because you get lucid and you go, brilliant, I can learn something really revealing. And then this happens to you. Of course, you didn't think it was funny. But anyway, I was sharing this with Heidi, and she got straight away.
Yes, I was getting that the people who you were looking at, whose eyes suddenly went dark, were actually guides in your dream. And the reason they went dark is because they actually got plugged from the dream.
Unplugged.
Unplugged from the dream. They got unplugged from the dream because you were asking them a question. They were about to answer it, and then they were like, okay, we can't answer this. So they kind of got, in a sense, unplugged from the dream. And it's only because they really want you to learn to analyze your own dreams. And there wasn't every dream's message is important, but there wasn't a hugely significant message in this one. And they want you to figure it out, and they really want you to be able to analyze your own dreams. Because the thing with lucid dreaming is it's not something we can always rely on. We can't control lucid dreaming, and at least until we get to that state. We can practice and we can practice, but it is something we can lose. But, learning how to analyze your own dreams is something that sticks with you forever. It's like learning a different language. Once you've learned it and once you're fluent, it will never go.
I can attest to that. I'm either fluent or effluent. I never know which.
Well, then that would segue into, I probably have 5 questions, and that's not fair to do all of them. So
no, it's okay. It's okay. I just thought it's funny. The plumber in your dream and fixing the sink, that's fixing something to do with your elimination system and probably the waterworks, like the kidneys or something like that. So when you can analyse it, it doesn't matter if they leave the matrix, you still know what they were there for. So it's a good dream. He's a healing agent, a guide and a healing agent in your dream.
Oh, wow. That's really neat. So since I'm supposed to be analyzing my dreams, my next question was whether my guides felt that it would be more beneficial to attend a dream course in person there in Seattle or to do it online, since I am in the Midwest right now.
Okay, now people are going to think I've paid you money to phone and ask these questions.
So let me just. They said no matter what you do, you're going to ultimately end up doing an in-person course. So I think whatever order you want to do that in is up to you.
Huh.
So if you wanted to do the online one, if that's easier for you, do that. But I'd see that ultimately you will be doing an in-person one. And I think just because you're going to get really interested in it, this is something that's going to change your life completely. And I can attest to that because I've seen it, but also your guides are saying that. That's also like exactly why your guides were plugged from the dream from answering the question, because this is something that will literally change your life.
That doesn't help very much.
But it's really up to you. If you want to do the in-person one first, because I see you doing a couple, I'm not sure, then do the in-person one first. But ultimately, you're going to get the benefit of an in-person course because you're going to choose to do that, even if you choose the online one first.
Yeah, I've a lot of people repeat the course. They're skeptical at the start. And then by the end of it, they're like, oh, my God, there's so much in this. And then they go, I wish I had my eyes open at the start and I paid more attention. So a lot of people repeat it. Some people have repeated it twice, which is always good because then they're kind of experts in the room and other people can see that, okay, you can actually get better at this.
And your guides are also saying they've allowed time off for you to do an in-person one somehow. I don't know if that's come up yet. Or if
I'm allowed time off to do an in-person.
They've moved things around so that you have time off to do an in-person course.
Oh,
I don't know if you've seen that yet, but you will see it soon. Either way.
Huh.
It's destiny.
I had a baby, and so I'm taking time off with the baby. So I'll be bringing the baby with me to an in-person course. Neither here nor there, but that's an interesting way of working.
One of the benefits, just one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking my questions. I won't ask any more.
Thanks, April.
Thank
you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, so back to Patrick's dream. If you remember Patrick from Ireland on the canal, and he's peeing while he runs. So we need to eliminate issues with regard to the fact that you have these abilities. So it's great that you have these abilities. You'll be delighted to hear this. And your own childhood is not going to be a surprise to you. Why the hobo? So you had a hobo ahead and you became apprehensive. So is that a word you'd use over here? It is, okay. I'm getting an affirmative from Eric. So this would be an aspect of yourself that you've deserted, this aspect of your nature, because hobos don't really have people flocking to them and saying, let's sit down beside you and have a chat. So it indicates you've kind of set this adrift in a way, and it's obviously going to come back. That's why it's coming up here in the dream. And this is also what you have to eliminate. And of course, whatever we try avoid, I think we did avoidance. We did indeed. We did avoidance in dreams a short while ago. So you're apprehensive about this hobo. And once you're trying to avoid something in a dream, that's telling you exactly what you need to face. So you've got to reintegrate this part of your nature. The guy had a small dog which was friendly. The guy came along with me for a while and we passed some buildings which were familiar to me and were quite dilapidated. Okay, so familiar but dilapidated means you know that you have this ability, but you've let it run down. As we passed, one collapsed quite close to us and I said, it's returning to the earth. Later I encountered a stream which I had to cross, and as I looked down on it, I decided to pee in it. Of course you did. A guy I grew up with was alongside me, and there were two female police officers getting lunch at a little kiosk the far side of the stream. The guy I grew up with had some trouble with the police in the past, and he made a remark. And as the officers looked up, they saw me peeing in the stream. One of them became annoyed and was emotional and said, what about the kids who use this? Okay, so this friend who had trouble in your childhood is about your trouble in your childhood, not saying that you had trouble with the police or anything like that, but that you were influenced, you were in an environment where you were influenced by people, who didn't respect the law, let's put it that way. So this lack of respect is part of the problem that you've got to deal with. And peeing in the stream and the police who are guides in your dream saying, what about the kids who used to use this? This is about the whole circle of it. What you're doing now, crossing the stream is about, you're going to get into the spiritual field, but you're not just going to flow into the path. You've got to really do something that really gets you across it. Just like in the stream, the path ends, but you need to get to the other side. So it's that kind of a transition you got to make in your life. But trust me, you're going to do it because of all the positives in this dream. I mean, it's mostly positive. It's just showing you the things you need to do to get there, and that's fine. We want to know these things, otherwise you can't get there, of course. So, so the things that you're doing that are negative in life now are you. It brings it right back to your childhood, because the police are saying, "What about the kids who use the same stream?" So that's what you're going to deal with. Is there anything else? I didn't understand the fuss, as this was a big stream and a small amount of fee. Of course, we never understand the fuss. I'm just writing on the wall over here. The other police officer was friendlier and she had a hairy face. I tried to persuade her to give me a lift back to the set as filming began at 2. So we have the 2 again. So definitely the channeling. So you're going to help people. You're going to teach people through your channeling. It was really lovely. She said no and looked up at a clock and said, it's 3:15 anyway. So you are on the karmic path. We talked about karma before, and you're committed to the karmic path. This is your individual thing to do. That's what the 1 represents, and the 5 is karma, and 3 is commitment to do that. So it's time, which is what the clock is about in the dream, for you to do this, but you've to develop your female side. That's why we have the 2 female police officers. We have the lunch kiosk is about taking a break and a short break and taking stock of things, and recharge your batteries like you do at lunch. But it's not a big thing. It's not a big break. And it's not a break that's going to really make you change much, because just like lunch, we take lunch in the middle of something and we go back to doing the same thing. So it's that sort of stop, take stock, and then continue on as you are and let it settle in for you. But you're angry with Dad. That's where the anger issues come from. So it's come up a couple of times in the dream. We had the police were angry, and then you were also annoyed with the vice president, or with them not doing the little ritual. So anyway, hope that helps. We have another one. I can't give this name because it's too unique. So this is Mark's dream. He says, I had an intense dream. This is one we were going to do actually last week. It was so intense that I thought it was a reality. In my dream, I was taking a math exam at college. Besides being so difficult to pass for all the students, he has in capitals, it's not just me. I'm not the only one who is having a problem, but it's your dream, Mark. So it is just you. It was totally illegible on the papers that I was given. I was unable to find my way around it, and I was unable to solve one single problem. So I absolutely and totally failed the exam. I love the extremes here. Very, very strong. Besides, even time given to do it was not enough. Of course it wasn't. There was nothing fair. Nobody was happy, but it's not nobody, it's you. You weren't happy, but clearly the rest of the students were more prepared for the exam than me, way more. I was so mad at the teacher for not giving me a paper with a very clearly written down problem so I could see what I'm supposed to do. So if I failed then, I would not be running around the classroom frustrated trying to do my exam, but I clearly did not know anything. The few problems that I was able to decipher, and I had to use a flashlight. Now, this is really good. I had to use a flashlight. So you're to use your intuition. This gives us the first clue, and we can tell you exactly what this dream means in a nutshell at the end. But the frustration is what we're all meant to think of here. The flashlight gets you past the frustration. I was able to decipher with the flashlight, but they were so complicated beyond my knowledge. I was so mad that I went around in my dream looking for a principal who turns out knew my name. I was shocked. How come he knows my name? I complained to him. By the way, I did not like my math teacher. I hated her for giving me problems I could not solve and so hard to even read. So I wanted to bypass her and go to the principal. He has that written in brackets. I had no patience to listen, or he had no patience to listen to my very intense and passionate complaints, and we can get that passion and intensity from you here. But I was able to convey my message somewhat. I was not too happy. Some students that work at the copy room appeared, and the principal passed me over to them to tell them what I need for the next exam. I can say I was a little worried about the exam. I felt it would be still tough and impossible to solve for me because I'm totally unprepared. But at least I wanted to know exactly what and how many questions. And he even has written down, period, end of story, with exclamation marks. He didn't like this dream. He wanted to send it back for sure. And again, we had looked at this one before last week. I don't know if you remember looking at it, Heidi, at all.
Yeah, I do.
But this guy's, Mark's purpose in life is to grapple with events that he feels unprepared for. What a terrible life purpose for you, Mark, that is. It's
Everything's a surprise, though.
Yeah, it's like constantly getting gifts. But that's what your life is about. And this dream is kind of like a precursor to karma in physical life. So you're tested in your dream. Are you stuck? Are you happy to take on challenges? Can you think outside the box? Are you willing to think outside the box? and solve the problems and not compare with how other people are. Now, of course, you're saying in the dream, other people weren't prepared either. But so the flashlight is saying you're deliberately getting problems that are difficult for you so that you will be forced to use your intuition. You can't even copy because other people aren't passing the same exam. So you're being told, use your intuition. That's what will get you past these things in life. Would you say I've got it right there, Heidi?
Oh, yes, definitely. But also, when I was looking at this dream last week, they were talking about him passing on his tendencies to his own son.
Oh, and that's
which is something that we do actually do. You know, if we have traits and all, I mean, what's the purpose of cutting the ties? We're picking up things from our parents. But this dream is also reminding him, that being what you said, the big message, but also reminding him that, you know, this is going to repeat in cycle because you're giving this issue to your son.
And that's what the copy room is about. And a photocopier is about reproduction, of course. So it is about that. And so it's like, watch children. This is how daddy gets frustrated and deals with frustration.
No, don't do the same thing.
And of course,
and we're all guilty of that, though.
Of course they copy. So, okay. Thank you for the dream. So let's have a look at another one. I've got kind of long ones. Let me see if I've got a short one to break it up. I don't. Okay, here's one. Dreamer says, I wake up in an attic bedroom. I'll leave out the name because it's distinctive. My husband is calling me. We're leaving to go somewhere. I'm angry because I am trying to lucid dream. Well, being angry about work. There are cats in the dream around the truck. I am tripping over them. Okay, so the truck is going to be about your career because I'm not lucid yet. So the truck is about your career. And tripping over the cats is saying that issues in your career are causing you digestive system problems. What have we got next? We get to the truck and I realize I'm not dressed. My husband laughs and says I'm an exhibitionist. And being naked in a dream is really good. It's about being yourself and not being afraid to be yourself in public around others. Like, don't dress things up. Like, don't put it on present an attitude, which is what clothes represent. Remove all pretense of attitudes and just be yourself.
Be in your real skin.
Absolutely. Yes. Good way of putting it. He laughs and says I'm an exhibitionist. The neighbours, 2 men and a girl, are out, so I wait until they are not looking to sneak back into the house in only a T-shirt. So a T-shirt is about a choice. So a choice about your career. And a T-shirt, of course, a T-junction is a choice, but a T-shirt is a choice you're wearing. So you're aware of this choice and you haven't made this choice. So the radio is on. So the radio is going to be about your clairaudience. The DJ is talking about the actress or performer who is like a ninja turtle who can't swim. So an actress is also about your channeling ability. So your clairaudient channel, and you already know this very likely. I creep back to the attic. The attic is about saying this is about your spiritual side, your higher self. The house is kind of messy. I step over a Lululemon bag. Back in the bedroom, I realise that I'm dreaming, and this whole thing is being a dream. So she does become lucid in the dream, but we'll leave it at that. So thank you for that dream, and I didn't say your name. And it's Anne. And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with a caller. Have you had a puzzling dream, a nightmare, or a dream that has stayed with you since childhood? Michael Sheridan here. If you're a regular listener to my show, and I sincerely hope you are, you have a good idea of the valuable advice your dreams give on relationships, career, life purpose, and much more. But what you hear on the show just barely scratches the surface compared to what you get with a full analysis. Treat yourself by having your dream fully analysed. The recorded analysis you receive is typically 20 to 35 minutes long. Go to dream-analysis.com for more. There's even a discount for KKNW listeners, and you don't even have to tell me that I sent you.
Are you wondering about your path in life? Do you have the sense there's something you're here on earth to do, but you're not sure what that could be? Maybe you've had a major change in your life recently, and you're asking yourself, what's next for me? I'm Susan Pullen with True Radiance Healing Arts, and I believe that each of us comes to this lifetime for a reason. Not only do we come with a specific aim for our life, we also bring with us special gifts that help us to make our unique contribution. Now is the time for you to discover your gifts and your life purpose. Now is the time for you to realize your true radiance. Find me on the web at true-radiance.com.
Hello, this is Heidi. How can I help you?
You tell me. You're the psychic.
That's not how it works. I am a medium. I connect to your spirit guides and loved ones and pass on their messages to you.
So why did I call? Use the force, Heidi.
Look, I can get answers to any questions you ask. That's not a problem. They can be about anything: relationships, career, children, finances, anything.
Anything? Okay. What's my favorite color?
Dave, your mom says you're being childish.
For readings with Heidi, go to angelsontheline.com.
1150kknw.com. It's why they invented the internet. We think. Alternative Talk, 1150 AM.
Welcome back. Michael Sheridan here. The number is 425-373-5527. And with me in studio is Heidi Brooks. So if you have any questions whatsoever that you want Heidi to channel on, you can call her. Or if you have dreams, you can call me. And we have Alice in Seattle on the line. Hello, Alice.
Yes. Thank you. I love this program.
Oh, thanks.
This is in two parts, and
Okay.
it's very short. So the first part is that my attention has been caught by an animal going straight into the bushes. I only see its backside, and I think I wonder if it's a cat. And then I hear another animal sounding like it's been caught. Then it skips to, it's been raining, as it has been in waking life. It's been raining hard, and our neighborhood pond is completely filled now. I see many small animals coming toward it to drink. Amongst the animals, I see about three, and they're from Africa, and many ducks as well. Amongst the animals that I'm seeing are two adult leopards side by side, and I keep exclaiming, "I didn't know they were in our area. I didn't know we had leopards." And at the same time, I was excited and concerned. Do we have to watch our children now as a neighborhood? And many of my neighbors are lined up at the pond edge, a little bit higher than the pond, watching this, and just standing there, sort of witnessing and talking amongst themselves.
Okay. Well, the first part of the dream is very straightforward. And in fact, I just looked over at Heidi and wanted to ask her if she got something about it too. And she had written down a more precise description of what I was getting. So the dream, and this is kind of funny. It's funny, the subject matter, which is to do with your elimination system, is a subject that quite often people are uncomfortable talking about. And I don't know why that is.
Oh.
So hopefully you're not one of those.
No, my elimination system.
Yes.
Okay.
By
eliminating the cat?
The cats will give us that. Also, the ducks will give us that as well.
Okay.
And then the pond filling with water when it rains, it's going to be water that's also making everything else, like mud trails, all sorts of things, because we haven't had rain in such a long time, also going into the pond. So it's got a few things, let's say, and also the animal in the bush. We have the leopard possibly attacking children and so on. So, but what Heidi got, do you want to say, Heidi?
Yeah, as he said, it is about the elimination systems, specifically your digestive system. And I don't know if you've been diagnosed with anything like this yet, but the dream is certainly telling you that you either have this or you're at risk for this, is diverticulitis. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly.
That's the pronunciation, all right.
But to be aware of that, and I think also the kidneys are being affected somehow.
Yeah, so, okay. Tell us a little bit, summarize quickly the second part of the dream as well, because when you have these dreams, the purpose of the dream is not to say, look, you have this. It's to say, here's what you can do to help alleviate this problem.
Okay.
And that's the whole point of having it. Now, this dream might not give that alleviation, although it does. It says about children. It says, what age were the children in the dream?
Probably, I'm just thinking about young children, 8, 9,
okay,
4, 5.
So when you look at issues at that age, deal with those issues. And I talk about cutting the ties all the time. And the reason I talk about it is because it's something you can do on your own. Also, it works on issues that you don't necessarily have a conscious memory of. So it's got everything going for it. It's got lots more other things. It's very fast. It only takes about 6 weeks, and it can deal with issues that you've had for a very long time, and it helps fix health issues. It really does. So send me a few more dreams after the show, especially if you've got a few in quick sequence, all at the same night or a few nights, and we'll get exactly what the issue is here, what the trigger is. But if you give a quick summary of your second dream, I'd say I'll spot it in the second dream. So without going over the whole thing, just can you summarize it?
That animals are coming to a pond that has been dry, that's recently filled, and they are from Africa. There are small, there are ducks and 2 leopards, and I think there's even a little baby wildebeest in there. And they come, and they're just drinking, and our neighbors are sitting up above, kind of watching all of this. And my concern is for the children. Okay,
so how much water do you drink in reality?
I thought I was drinking a good amount, but maybe not enough.
Well, the fact that you say that it was dry, I also found it funny because you're in Seattle and you said it raining hard like it was in reality. And we have had probably only 3 days of rain all year.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, did they get your origin correct here? But so it's emphasizing the dryness because of the emphasis in reality too. So it may not just be water, but send me some dreams, and when we get what it is, I'll say it on the radio too, but I'll reply outside the show, because I don't want to just leave you with, okay, the dream is pointing at that. There is always something you can do. I myself, when I got into dream analysis first, I had many dreams about my elimination system, much more serious than yours, all about cancer, all warning about it, and by following the advice in the dreams, within about 2 years, all those dreams stopped. Now that sounds like a long time, but it's not. It's nothing. Yours wouldn't be anything like that.
Right.
So
you're saying send in dreams that were after this dream?
Send in any dreams you can think of. I'm going to look for the ones that have to do with this, that are connected with this, and it'll be very easy to spot, and we'll get exactly what you need to do, and you'll be happy.
Oh, great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Alice.
Okay, bye-bye.
So I wish we could have seen exactly what it was in the dream. You don't get anything on that?
I think... I didn't see it in the dream, but her guides are certainly telling me that it's not the amount of water she's drinking, she's not absorbing it. And I'm not sure if it's because of vitamins or something else that's being taken.
Yeah, okay. Very, very easy to figure out anyway in the end. Okay, so we are joined in studio now by Susan Sinclair and her daughter Angela. I want to say hello.
Hi. Hello, everybody, and hello, Michael and Heidi.
Hi.
Lovely to be here.
Okay. So, glad you found the place.
Finding it was easy. Parking was more interesting.
Oh, yes.
But I should know that. It's the big city.
The big city. Bellevue is the big city.
Compared to where we were, yes.
Okay. So I introduced this by saying it's a therapy that is definitely sound. I really like my pun there.
I love puns.
Did you know sound has healing properties? No? Think about it for a moment. It's instinctive to us. I bet you've got a song that always makes you feel good. Do you turn up the radio when a favourite comes on? Why is it a favourite? Why do you turn the radio up just for that song? It's like chocolate and ice cream for your ears. It releases endorphins and makes you feel good. Yes, you could have an association with a song, but then why do you instinctively like a song you've never heard? So many of us pick an individual new song that we send it to the top of the Billboard charts, and we have no personal association with that. It's the harmonies in the song that grab us, the harmonies created with the instruments and the harmonies between the music and the singer. Without any musical training, we can detect an amazing precision when the singer is out of harmony or off key. We are finely tuned and we resonate with something we hear that is in tune with us. Everyone's ears are tuned with the same precision. A note A4 on a piano is 440 hertz. A3 one octave down is exactly half that at 220. To move up a scale, you double the frequency, and to move down a scale, you half the frequency of any note. You'll quickly turn the radio down if someone is singing off or playing off key because the harmonics created are unpleasant. That's something you wish you could do when you hear fingernails scraped on a chalkboard. I find the mathematical relationship between frequencies and notes stunning. Each instrument must play the precise frequency for the same note. It is mostly the shape of the waveform produced that allows our ears to name the instrument producing it. Even more fascinating is the concept of harmony. Certain notes, when struck together, create pleasant harmonics. Again, because of the mathematical relationship between the frequencies of the notes. But before I bore you to sleep, which is okay because you'd dream, here is something more interesting. If I place 2 tuning forks with matching frequencies in proximity and strike one, the second tuning fork will vibrate in harmony with it. This is called resonance. By using a precise frequency, I can target objects that resonate with that frequency. But here's something more interesting. More interesting even. By adding a second tuning fork with another specific frequency, I can create beats. This is where the slightly different frequencies create an interference pattern that rapidly alternates between an amplified, in-phase sound and silence when out of phase. The beat pattern itself has its own frequency, and that is very significant and the key to targeting the healing effect. The shifting beat pattern, along with the fundamental frequencies of the forks, alter the state of your chakras and aura. Just as our ears are tuned, so too are our chakras, and they respond well to frequencies in harmony with their natural frequency. Low frequencies can be used to pull you into an altered state. 10 Hz is what we want, but it is below the range our ears can detect. Some cultures and New Age practitioners beat drums 10 times per second instead, i.e. generate 10 Hz, to induce this altered state, because we can hear the beats. The beat pattern of the tuning forks also attempts to alter your state. That's enough background. Now let's say hello to Susan Sinclair and Angela.
Hello.
Hi.
So we have an audio clip of tuning forks and another one of Tibetan Bowls that you've done. And I was talking to Heidi about this beforehand. And I was tuning into it because I'm kind of stupid. When I hear something that's new to me, I'm always skeptical. So I'm like, how can sound heal you? I used to think the same of colour healing as well. I don't anymore. But how can sound heal you? And so I was channeling on it. And the guides were saying it's the beats is the big thing. And they were saying it's like your chakras. A tuning fork doesn't just play one frequency. It'll play that frequency and many harmonics of the frequency.
Correct.
So that made it more interesting to me because the higher harmonics are higher frequencies and our chakras are, well, I don't know whether they vibrate at a high or a low frequency. But anyway, they are tuned to particular frequencies, or they have a natural resonant frequencies. They can vary, but they have a natural resonant frequency. Anyway, they said that the beats and the beats will pull the frequencies left and right, or pull the phase left and right. And it's that pulling, it moves out of phase and into the same alignment that your out of phase chakra is. And then when it goes back to the centerpiece, it pulls your chakra back, which I thought was interesting. And even as I'm saying it now, they say, yes, that's how it works. I still don't understand it, but...
And sometimes, just like we don't understand how electricity generates the lights or even the equipment that we're using, we don't know all the fine technological details, but all you need to do is accept, I flip the switch and the light goes on.
Not at
cool.
all.
Excellent.
If I'm getting an operation, I want to see the list of books that the doctor has studied.
And they're, that fact that they will give you that kind of detail is useful. I mean, your guides gave you a really nice visual as well as an audio explanation of what happens when the fields of the tuning forks react with the resonant frequencies of the body. Yes,
and you did this with me. You did this with the tuning forks. And it's quite surprising when you've got the 2 tuning forks and you're alternating them across my ears. It really fills up your senses. Even though it's just sound, it really, you feel like you're being washed in this sound because of the beats, I think.
Exactly. And the fact that the forks are tuned to 2 different hertz cycles each. So they're creating a field of sound that then, as you cross the forks over the head and the forks cross and then come to the other side of the ears, it makes many, many subtle variations in the overtones and the harmonics and the frequencies, which allows a tremendous field of sound for your body to then absorb and respond to what it needs.
Yeah.
And bodies are pretty good at filtering out what they don't need.
I don't know. I was married.
Well, that's why we need healing, because sometimes our bodies have been conditioned to absorb the wrong stuff and release the wrong stuff, and we're retraining our bodies to do what they would do if we hadn't interfered with them.
So you have a whole range of tuning forks. I was going to say a plethora and get into that whole joke, but I won't. So you have a whole range of tuning forks, and they're in pairs. Different frequency pairs.
Generally, yes. There is one. There are 2 that I have that are singles, and the rest do operate in pairs.
I was going to mention the one that's single and one for working on the pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
And so I find it interesting then, especially because tuning forks will make something that is tuned to the same frequency vibrate in harmony with it. And it's so easy to prove that one. In fact, you could even look it up on YouTube and you'll find some science room teacher showing students how to do that. The pineal gland one can definitely get anything that's tuned to that frequency to vibrate with it, and that's the point of it, to jolt it and shock it awake.
And also to help it cleanse away anything that's coating it. What I've understood from my own training is that most of us, when we're very young, we learn that it's not safe to be connected to our higher spiritual guidance for some reason. We just learn that's not safe because it puts us outside the normal realm of experience.
The not safe probably has to do with being locked up in a straitjacket.
Yeah, and being told you're crazy.
It's not as bad as it used to be. You used to go, you're into what? Hang on, let me go get wood and some matches.
Yes, we have remedies for this. We can help you solve this. But now that, there's this movement towards feeling safer and more in tune with the unseen, with the things we can't physically
because it's
perceive.
like the fact that we can even talk about it on the radio today is great. So we have people are familiar with it. They know that other people are like that. Whereas go back just a few years, go back 25 years, and people would have thought, I'm the only one that can hear voices. And that would have been terrible. And it was for some. And I know people who took medication to suppress it.
And to this day, that still goes on. That people feel
really
they need to be medicated.
Yes, I actually see a lot of children on medication because people describe them as sensitive. They're also very connected and their parents don't understand. And it's the medical professionals putting them on medication. So yes, it does still happen today, unfortunately. But I think as adults, we have a lot more wherewithal to know what we're doing and, to research it and to see that, no, we're not the only ones. There's actually so many people
That's
out
an
there.
interesting one. If you coach your kids right through, they don't ever have to drop it. So we would have dropped it at some point. Heidi, you never dropped it because you grew up in a crazy family. So we were already on the radio and TV, and fortunately for us, you guys all loved the whole idea.
Accepting. Everyone there was accepting the idea of communicating with the unseen, of being
only
in
in
touch
our
with the
family.
unseen.
You stepped out of the family, and it was
a little different, but
different.
We had the backbone of the family. Even our aunts and uncles and everything were very accepting, so it did make it.
And some of them are into it too. In fact, Joe and Bernie are responsible for us falling down this slippery slope.
And for my own daughter, for Angela, she kept her connection going, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, so you were able to sneakily channel. I'm up against 3 channels. So another thing you do, Susan, is you can channel and tap into people's Akashic records.
Yes.
Which is something Edgar Casey could do, another dream analyst.
Yes,
I was going to say a great dream analyst, another great dream analyst, and then I stopped myself. I'm in America. You can say that about yourself in America.
Very acceptable to toot your
in
own
Ireland
horn.
and England, you have to be very understated.
Right.
I'm pretty good, yeah.
I'm pretty good. And we know what the hell means. We know.
So Akashic Records, yeah. So if anybody wants to call 425-373-5527 and ask any questions about sound, we're going to take a break now. And when we come back, we're going to play some tuning forks.
Very good.
Hello, this is Heidi. How can I help you?
You tell me. You're the psychic.
That's not how it works. I am a medium. I connect to your spirit guides and loved ones and pass on their messages to you.
So why did I call? Use the force, Heidi.
Look, I can get answers to any questions you ask. That's not a problem. They can be about anything: relationships, career, children, finances, anything.
Anything? Okay. What's my favorite color?
Dave, your mom says you're being childish.
For readings with Heidi, go to angelsontheline.com.
Do you suffer from never wanting to be ill? Apply Michael Sheridan's Dream Tonic nightly. It's sure to prevent all manner of diseases.
Let's get serious. All around, you see adverts telling you how to spot the signs of debilitating illness, and that's great. But that's also depressing. The good news is, your dreams last night already told you the specific condition you are susceptible to. That includes stroke, heart attack, cancers, and more. Isn't that great? Yeah, I don't expect you're smiling. But when I tell you that your dreams also tell you why and what you need to do to prevent the condition from ever occurring, that should put a smile on your face. I don't expect to convince you in a 30-second ad, but I will if you attend my 2-day intensive dream course. Don't be a statistic. Stay in control of your health. Michael Sheridan's Dream Workshop Seattle, September 26th and 27th. Register at dream-analysis.com. St. John, New Brunswick, October 3rd and 4th.
Are you wondering about your path in life? Do you have the sense there's something you're here on earth to do, but you're not sure what that could be? Maybe you've had a major change in your life recently, and you're asking yourself, what's next for me? I'm Susan Pullen with True Radiance Healing Arts, and I believe that each of us comes to this lifetime for a reason. Not only do we come with a specific aim for our life, we also bring with us special gifts that help us to make our unique contribution. Now is the time for you to discover your gifts and your life purpose. Now is the time for you to realize your true radiance. Find me on the web at true-radiance.com.
Tell your friends the place to be is Alternative Talk 1150 AM.
Welcome back. Michael Sheridan in studio with Heidi Brooke. And we have as guests Susan Sinclair and her daughter Angela. And she's talking about tuning forks and Tibetan bowls. But let's hear the tuning forks right now. So this might not sound great on an AM radio, but we have in the archive, it'll be in stereo. So you can find it again there.
A sharp.
It's really short. It's only
Sacred
like a couple of minutes.
8 to 13.
That's the crossing, as if we were crossing it over your head. So with that crossing and recrossing, we're actually balancing the brain hemispheres between the fields of sound.
Moses Code Tuning Forks. Sacred sound sequence of the I am frequencies.
So you might notice that sometimes one sound feels or sounds more prominent than the other. Sometimes that's a value of how I
tuning
struck
fork,
it.
Sacred ratio of 2 to 3.
And as you listen, notice which ones you just actually like hearing more. That's an important clue. That C and G frequency is kind of the panacea for most people. It's so pleasant. People feel like they can listen to that
Pineal
all
gland
day.
tuning fork.
That last one sounds like a test of the emergency broadcast system.
Which would be a real interesting correspondence if they're really that similar.
No,
Wonder
they're
what
not.
that means.
It
Tune
just-
up, people. There's an emergency.
It grates. And that last one was the pineal gland. You can definitely, with the headphones on in the studio, you can hear the harmonies of the two forks and how they interplay. That's really good. But like I said, it was new to me. I mean, I'd heard of it, but to experience it, I mean, it's so simple.
Yes, so tell me, I mean, you, as someone who's paid attention to energy running in your body, you got some real responses from your own sample session.
Yeah, straight away I could feel, it was like very grounding initially. I could feel energy just running down my body. And then kind of like an accumulation of energy around my crown chakra. And then when you did the pineal, so when you're working with people, you only select 2 sets at most, typically, right?
Usually, yeah.
And when you did the second one, it pushed all that kind of like static energy at the front of my head right to the back. And you said it was like processing, pushing it to where it can be processed and would leave by the back exit of the chakra.
Right, and that's the intention, is that this energy that you no longer need takes the path of least resistance.
Okay. Here's your bus fare energy I no longer need.
Apparently you did have an overload there. It needed to go.
No. I was going to say, what happens when somebody doesn't need brain hemisphere balancing, like me, when you're already balanced? That's probably what happened to me. Anyway, moving on.
Yes, we'll just leave that right where you put it there. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so The next thing was the Tibetan bowls. What would make you select using the tuning forks or using the bowls with somebody? Is it you get inspiration or guidance on what to use, or is there like a already written out strategy of here's what you do in this order?
It depends on whether you've trained with someone who does things very systematically or whether you're more comfortable with true intuitive guidance. Since I'm really intuitive and have been trained as an intuitive, I go by the guidance. Okay. And so I'm really listening, paying attention to what each person needs individually. And usually it'll be a specific set of forks and possibly the bowls.
Okay. We're going to play the bowls right now. I really didn't want to talk over that. When you're experiencing that, it really is extremely pleasant. It probably might not come across that way on the radio, but it can really send you to another place.
Especially live and in person, because there's nothing between you and the sound.
But, and I'm always being joking, but is it not like equivalent of a $5,000 chime to hear Tibetan bowls like that?
Well, I would like to think it's a little... Well, it's certainly more economical than $5,000, but it's far more effective because the Tibetan, those who created the bowls really tuned into what the body needs for healing and have individually hammered and shaped those bowls under spiritual guidance. So there's more energetic and spiritual oomph, and that would be the technical term.
Of course there is, and even there's cultures in the East where they're constantly making particular sounds that they say anchor energy in the earth plane, so sound is extremely well respected, and so it's quite interesting. And I think really expensive chimes have similar kind of sounds to the bowls. They're not tuned the same way,
right.
And I think they're copying what the bowls ultimately do, and you would even see chimes at temples and so on. So
yes, I mean, chimes are another form of sacred sound when they're tuned and calibrated with that awareness.
And we were at the Mill Creek Fair, and somebody had an aura machine taking pictures, and my partner Sandy got a picture of her aura taken, and it was out of balance like mine was, and she got somebody just using one Tibetan bowl to sound it for a little while she sat in the space, and then she got her picture taken again, and everything was balanced. I thought that was hilarious, because I wouldn't, even though people will claim this is what it'll do, I like to put my finger in the wound.
Well, and it's great to have that kind of validation, because sometimes
skepticism.
What you perceive, we trust our instruments. We trust our little machines to validate what's happening.
Okay, we have Colleen on the line. We're going to take a really quick call if we can. Hi, Colleen. If you could very fast ask your question.
Oh, yeah. I'm a massage practitioner, and I'm very drawn to the field of energy. I'm trying to transition into that. I'm really turned on by sound and vibration, and I think I'm irritated with myself that I haven't gone this way sooner, so I'm kind of trying to get clear about whether I can actually move into this field and be successful. And
okay. So any channels in the room want to take that one?
Well, the impression I get, Colleen, is that as for so many things, it's not or, it's and. synergize what you do and take and add in this new field of interest. It will be, the combination will be very powerful.
Yeah. So we are running out of time. I'm sorry to cut it short, Colleen, but thank you for your call. We're going to have to wrap up, and I didn't even do the the symbols for today, so apologies to everybody on that. We'll get to it next week. But that's our show. Thanks to our producer and engineer, Eric Ryder. Thanks to Heidi. Thanks to Susan and Angela for coming in.
Thank you.
Before we go, Susan, can you tell people how they can contact you?
Well, Michael, if people want to learn more about how I work with both sound and the Akashic Records to do some very deep healing of both emotional and sometimes physical issues, they can contact me through my website, www.susansinclair.org. They can also email me, susan@susansinclair.org, with any questions they might have. And I am on Facebook, Susan Sinclair Fan, and on Twitter, @SusanVSinclair. Lots of ways to connect with me and find out more about how sound can heal all levels of our being.
Thank you for listening. Remember to send your dreams to radioshow@dream-analysis.com and look us on the web, up on the web on dream-analysis.com. Until next week, I'll leave you with this quote: "Your value does not decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth."
There's some sacred sound.
Bye. Welcome to the special Easter egg. After the show, Susan told me something very interesting about the musical note A440. So I asked her to record it so that we could put it here.
Oh, Michael, that part about A440 hertz is very interesting because actually I've done a fair amount of study. And A440 hertz is a completely arbitrary standard for concert tuning of music. It's been promoted since about 1953. And before that, going way, way back to when we first began to standardize music, it was more common for A to be set at 432 hertz. There's some arguments that A440 is actually slightly out of resonance with the natural frequencies of the human body and even of the world around us. There's a lot of correspondence between 432 and other natural phenomena. Two great websites that really go into this are omega432.com and collective-evolution.com. You can Google the importance of A432 hertz on that particular phrase, the importance of A432 hertz, and get lots of hits that can demonstrate how A440 affects our bodies a little differently and not in a way that's for our good. Thanks for letting me chime in on that.